Hello. Today I wanted to talk about my history with Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's something that has been a really big part of my life for many years now. I guess I should start up from the beginning, which is how I came upon Avatar. And that all ties back into me watching a lot of TV as a kid. I first discovered Avatar when I was 12. It was something that my sisters and I kind of stumbled upon on Nick, and we kind of watched it. I think maybe we were watching it as it came out because we were able to watch the episodes consecutively rather than a lot of shows where we've had to jump around in them. Because I think kids do that a lot. They don't watch shows consecutively, but with Avatar, we were fortunate enough to watch shows consecutively. So the first season wasn't that big of a deal. It was more of a show we just kind of liked, and we watched it when it came on. And the second season was definitely when we got more involved into it. It was something that we deliberately chose to watch on a daily basis. Like, not daily, but, on a weekly basis as it was coming out. But I would definitely say my start in the fandom had to be by the end of the second season. For those of you who are familiar with Avatar, there's a huge cliffhanger at the end of the second season where you're not sure if a character is going to live or survive or what's going on because all plans for the future have been pretty much screwed up. And I'm sorry if that spoiled any of you. I tried to leave it pretty vague, but that's what definitely got me into the fandom because I was so eager for the third season that I started looking for content. Like, when is it coming out? What's it going to be about? I would probably say the most defining moment is when I found out that an older girl at church was actually really into the show too. Because before, there had been shows I was really into, but I had no one to share with or support that. Like Pokemon. Pokemon is something I woke up every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. to watch. It's something I talked about with my sisters, I drew pictures. Pokemon was something I couldn't really share with other people. There were boys at school, but they didn't watch the show. They only played the video games or the card games. And I collected cards, but I honestly never knew how to play because no one taught me. So I would play with my younger sister and I would make up the rules. So when I went to church one day and I discovered that this girl that was maybe 3 or 4 years older than me was also really into the show, and she was like, "Oh yeah, it's coming out in August." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm so excited." Well, there was one little problem with what she told me. Avatar actually came out September. And so I was all hyped up a month before it came out because they didn't really release the info until August anyway. That was a defining moment in my fandom for Avatar. It was not only finding someone that also liked the show, that supported my interest in it, but the misinformation, which is really kind of funny because that's what got me really eager for it, is because you hyped yourself up for until that day and you find out it's not then. So I ended up hyping myself up a lot more. It got to the point where I was actually having third season dreams the week or two before it finally premiered because I was so excited and I was trying to figure out what was happening. During that time, I joined a forum called Distant Horizons. I'll put a link up here and down there. And so I joined that forum, and the reason I know I came upon Avatar when I was 12 is because I'd been on the forum for a while, probably over a year, and they're like, "Okay, yeah, we have an age restriction. People need to be 13 on this forum." And I was like, "Well, is it okay if I'm 13 now and not when I signed up?" And they were fine. So that's how I remember, is that I was 12. So that was probably in 6th grade. And I was really active on that forum in discussions and stuff. That was definitely a good part of my life to discuss with those people and I guess discuss with people older than me. The third season of Avatar ended when I was in early 8th grade. So that would have been 2008. And after that, I was kind of like, okay, well, what do I do now? And what I ended up doing is sharing the show with as many people as I could and talking about it. So I briefly touched on the second season of Avatar in the finale. That's actually, those episodes are the ones that I've converted a lot of my friends with, which is kind of funny because we'll be on a long car ride to like an amusement park or something, and I'll be like, "Here, let me pull up Avatar on my iPod Nano." Yeah, one of those square ones is what I used to have. And we would watch it on that. And I had bought the season 2 finale because, like I said, that was like defining moment in joining fandoms was those episodes. And so I think I had the final 4 episodes, and usually in the car ride we got through 2 or 3 of them. So I didn't get to see the very end, but they were introduced to all the characters, and that got them interested into the show. Because I think I'd shown people the first 2 episodes of season 1, and while I like them, they're not necessarily the best representation, and they're not super catchy either. Those are definitely the episodes where it definitely feels the most like a kid's show. After Avatar ended, there was a long gap before Korra, and during that gap, that was filled by the Last Airbender movie by M. Night Shyamalan. And by then, I guess I was 15 or so. So I was pretty excited. We actually went to the midnight premiere with my dad. He took us because he didn't mind the show. He wasn't super into it, but he thought he'd support us. So he took all of us there. And any of you who've seen the movie know that it's... People who haven't seen the show seem to like the movie a lot better. Like, my dad didn't think it was that bad. But to kind of put it into perspective, I'd gone horseback riding that day, and horseback riding always wears me out. And I got to that movie, and it wasn't interesting enough to keep me awake the whole time. I started dozing off. I was already tired, but the plot was pretty weak that it couldn't keep me awake, even though I was so excited for it, and there were a bunch of fans in the theater. So there was that, and then in my junior year in high school, I found out that they were doing Korra. Actually, I found out a long time before then. In 2011, the first rumors, I think, no, in 2010, the first rumors of Korra started popping up, like solidified this is going to happen. And that definitely pulled me right back in. I'd managed to keep in contact on the forum over the years. I would pop up every month or so, see what it was doing, but the activity definitely started slowing down after a while. And it still hasn't come quite back up since Korra. So if you want to go join the forum and give it a new fire, you can become a firebender, then I suggest you go check it out. But that's my history with Avatar. What's your history? How did you find it? How did you become involved in a fandom? Because I would say that Avatar is the cornerstone of me joining all fandoms since, because it opened up the world of the internet to me. So yeah. I think that's all I kind of wanted to say. This video is probably going to be long. I will crop it. So have a good day.